and there are a large list of them. Our platinum sponsors are Celis Khandelwal, Balagure Rolls, a gold sponsor, General Mills. Co-sponsors are IBMA, event coordinator and manager associate, India. Ingredient partner is Stern Ingredients, India. Sessions sponsor is ITC, Enduring Value. Silver sponsor is Patanjali. Tea sponsor is Mohini. Kit sponsor is Shiftara. Made local, made fresh. Lanyard sponsor is Vivata. High tea sponsor is Tia. Lunch sponsor is Flartech and AQ Nutrition. Nutrition partners are Millers for Nutrition, Fortify Health. Knowledge partner BISA, CIMMYT, CFTRI, and NCDEX. Association sponsors, we have got a huge list of them. We thank them. And the industry sponsors, Megastar Foods, Naga, McDonald Pells, AG Industries, Shivaji, Rishta, SFM, Olam Agri, PFM, Bowler, Bansal, Ganga, Gilco, Pertin, and LDC. Thank you very much to all our sponsors. This is a mic test, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we look forward to 2 great days of knowledge, 2 great days of friendship, 2 great days of networking, and to take home a lot of values which we learn here at this wonderful conclave, Global CEO Conclave, brought to you by Wheat Product Promotion Society. So I love wheat, WPPS, and I hope you love wheat, and we are going to have a great time here today. Thank you. One of the sessions we are going to have today, Thursday, 27th June 2024. We have our registration and lunch from 1 to 2 p.m. And 2 to 4 p.m. we have a technical session, milling and baking technology. Our sessions chair is Dr. Sridevi Annapurna Singh, Director CSIR-Central Food Technological Research Institute, Mysuru. We also have Dr. M.M. Krishna, former CMD, then Modern Foods Industries Limited. The speakers for our first session, Innovative Gluten Replacement, the Way Ahead, is Dr. Lutz Popper, who will come to us live on the screen. He is the Scientific Director, Muehlenchemie GmBh Co, KG, Germany. To join Dr. Lutz Popper, we have Mr. Biren Palani, Managing Director, Stern Ingredients India Private Limited, exploring new frontiers in baking ingredients. Mr. M.R. Sundar, baking technician, advancements in milling technology. Mr. Jayaprakash Sharma, General Manager, Key Account Management, Bulher India Private Limited, revolutionizing flour mill techniques. Ms. Bhavya Gupta, Managing Director, Flour Tech Engineers Private Limited, Global Initiatives in Food Fortification. Mr. Riaz Yusuf Ali, Global Program Director. So we have great sessions today and tomorrow, and we look forward to your participation, active participation, and your sessions where you can ask questions to our esteemed speakers, chairpersons, and knowledge partners. Thank you. After which there would be the awards, and followed by cocktails and dinner. Thank you very much. We are waiting for 2 p.m. Thank you. In the meantime, you can network and listen to some soft music. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you very much for your presence. And we're going to have 2 wonderful days of knowledge here today. Thank you. Well, friends, thank you very much for coming on time and for your presence here today. And we assure you, you are going to have 2 great days of knowledge gaining and knowledge sharing here at this wonderful conclave, which we have brought to you at the Hyatt Regency in the capital, New Delhi. So we'll wait for our friends to join in, and we'll start at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much. And may I request you to kindly put your telephones on either silent or vibrator mode. Thank you very much. Warm welcome to this wonderful conclave, Global CEO Conclave Wheat and Wheat Products. We are here at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in New Delhi, and we warmly welcome you for Vision 2030, Trade Dynamics, Trends and Technologies, brought to you by Wheat Products Promotion Society. Come on, let's first actually acknowledge ourselves. So let me teach you how we'll acknowledge ourselves. Everybody with your left hand, like this, जैसे मैंने किया, अरुण जी, ऐसे, ऐसे. अच्छा, सब लोग ऐसे बैठे हैं. Everybody has to do it. Everybody. Everybody, ये, इसको बायां बोलते हैं कि दायां? बायां. अच्छा, अभी ये हाथ का एक उंगली ले लीजिए. Right hand, one उंगली. ताली बजाइए एक उंगली से. Second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Big round of applause for the Wheat Conclave. Wow, superb. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I'm opening up directly, and it gives me immense pleasure to invite on stage our session's chairperson, the technical session on milling and baking technology, Director, CSIR-Central Food Technology Research Institute, Dr. Sridevi Annapurna. Singh ji, may I invite you on stage? Thank you, madam. We value your presence here today. May I invite Dr. M.M. Krishna, former CMD, Modern Food Industries Limited. Thank you, sir. Our speakers are Dr. Lutz Popper. He is online, and he'll come a little later. Scientific Director from Germany. Mr. Biren Palani, Managing Director, Stern Ingredients India Private Limited. Are you here, sir? Well, thank you, Mr. Palani. May I now invite Mr. M.R. Sundar, Bakery Technician, on stage. Thank you, sir. Great to have you here. May I invite Mr. Jayaprakash Sharma, General Manager, Key Accounts Management, Buher India Private Limited. Thank you, sir. May I now invite Ms. Bhavya Gupta, Managing Director, Flower Tech Engineers Private Limited. Is she here? She's not here as yet. May I invite Mr. Riz Yusuf Ali, Global Program Director, Ignite. Okay, we'll wait for him. May I invite Mr. Nikunj Khandelwal, Chief Strategy Officer, Khandelwal Group. He will join us later. He's here? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Khandelwal. A warm welcome to you. May I invite Mr. Mehmet Karaka, Regional Marketing Director, Celis Turkey. Here. Having a really exciting panel is Mr. Preet Pal Singh, IFS Joint Secretary here as yet, Ministry of Food Processing Industries. Is Mr. G. Kamala Vardhan Rao, IAS Chief Executive Officer, Food Safety and Standards Authority, is here as yet. We're waiting for him. Is Professor Ramesh Chand, Member Niti Ayoga and Chairman, Institute of Economic Growth, New Delhi, here as yet. We'll wait for him. And is Mr. H.K. Batra, President, All India Bread Manufacturers Association, Chairman, Perfect Bread Group of Companies. Are you here? Okay, they will all join us. Madam, may I invite you to open up the sessions? And I have a bell with me, no house rules, but we have to finish by 3:50. 3:50 p.m., 10 minutes before 4. And then perhaps if you have the time, Arunji will have the question answer. All over to you, madam. All the best. Let's give our chairperson and the panelists a big round of applause. You like this? You like to come here?
A very good afternoon to all present here. It's indeed an honor for me to be chairing this session, and I thank the organizers for inviting me here. This session, which is titled Milling and Baking Technology, is very, very exciting because we have around 12 speakers, including the first speaker, who is Dr. M.M. Krishna. I have been associated with him as a student, and all my life, probably in the career at least, I have known him and look forward to hearing him. The topics are so interesting, like innovative gluten replacement, exploring new frontiers for baking ingredients, and so on. And there is a mix of academicians and scientists and marketing executives, as well as technical people from the industry. So I'm sure it will be very, very interesting. However, for 12 speakers, we only have 2 hours, which means a quick math says 10 minutes per speaker. But if we include the introductions and so on, probably there would be only around 8 minutes per head. So I will not stand here to take too much of the time. However, having said that, I am so excited to be here for 2 reasons. One is, it is my professional field also, but all the people I met during lunch, and this is my second visit, I was in Guwahati also, everybody has had some connect with CFTRI. So that also makes it very exciting. I would like to interact more, and probably now I think it is time for introducing the first speaker.
I'll just take 1 minute at a time. I missed out on 3 important speakers. May I invite them now?
Yeah.
Thank
please.
you. May I invite Mr. Vijay Anand, Technical Director, Naga Limited, please. Please take your seat, sir. One more. May I invite Mr. Eliseo Sempari, Area Manager, Balagur Rolls. Mr. Sempari, are you here? Okay, Ms. Bhavya Gupta is here. Kindly take your seat. Big round of applause. Thank you. Dr. Sevaram, are you here, sir? May I invite Dr. Sevaram, Principal Scientist, Plant Biochemistry, and Principal Investigator, Quality and Basics. Thank you very much, sir. Please go ahead, ma'am.
It is now a great honor for me to be introducing the first speaker, that is Dr. M. Krishna, who would be delivering the Mr. L.R. Pat Kandhari Memorial Lecture. He is the former CMD, then Modern Foods Industries Limited. Dr. M. Krishna completed his postgraduate studies in food science and technology at CSIR-Central Food Technological Research Institute, Mysuru, and the ICAR, New Delhi. He was awarded the PhD degree by IARI in 1968. Additionally, he studied advanced baking science and technology at the American Institute of Baking. With over 50 years of experience in the food and agro-processing industries, Dr. Krishna has had a very distinguished career and was closely associated with Modern Food Industries India Limited, a Government of India enterprise, for over 2 decades, serving as the chairman and managing director from 1991 to 1996. During his tenure, Dr. Krishna played a significant role in expanding the company's manufacturing capacity and consumer reach through bread and other diversified bakery products, as well as wheat-based supplementary nutritious food products for mothers and children. Under his leadership, wheat-based nutritious food was supplied daily to millions of mothers and children across Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Assam under the supplementary nutrition programs of these states. Notably, in 1977, Dr. Krishna pioneered the pilot manufacturing and marketing of flat breads like naan, kulcha, and roti in Delhi and its surrounding areas. Dr. Krishna has received several honors and recognition, including the prestigious Dr. V. Subramanian Memorial Industrial Achievement Award, Dr. H.A.B. Papia Memorial Oration Award, and the Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Union of Food Science and Technology, also abbreviated as IUFOST. He previously served as a member of the Research Council of CSIR-CFTRI Mysuru and has been involved in numerous government and professional committees on food processing. In 2023, he was honored with the WPPS's Lifetime Achievement Award. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure all of you are eagerly waiting to hear him, and I will not take any more time. I would now like to invite Dr. M. Krishna to deliver the memorial lecture.
Ma'am, I'll just interrupt for a minute. Doctor, please come. Mr. Sunil Gupta of Bansal Engineers, are you here, sir? Sunil ji? Yes, he's here. Please join in. This side. This side. Sunil ji, this side.
Good afternoon. Respected Dr. Sridevi, Director CSIR-CFTRI, very distinguished guests on the dais, very distinguished participants in this global conclave. It is indeed, I am very happy and proud to speak in honor and memory of my mentor and guide, Sri L.R. Kandhari. Before I speak, I would like to thank the organizers, Wheat Products Promotion Society, particularly Ajay Goyalji and Raj Kapoor and all the team, WPPS, for having given me this opportunity to speak in memory of a great person connected with baking industry, Sri L.R. Kandhari. I think we're going to have a short video about Mr. Kandhari and his mission, but let me say a few words. Mr. Kandhari was one of the earliest graduates in baking science and technology from the American Institute of Baking, whereafter he came back to India to help develop wheat-based applications and promoted wheat food products aggressively through an organization called US Wheat Associates. He was with the US Wheats for about 30 to 35 years and devoted all his time to help promote wheat as an alternate dietary staple, particularly in non-wheat eating areas like the southern states and the eastern states of India. In those days, in 1950s and 60s, wheat was very rare in these states. It was not a part of our diet, but the vigorous promotions that were taken up by Mr. Kandhari really brought in a great transition in our dietary pattern and made wheat as a component of our food basket as an additional staple food for the people. Several seminars, exhibitions, conferences, workshops, demonstrations have been conducted under the leadership of Mr. Kandhari in all over the country, especially with a focus on the southern states and the eastern states where wheat was not an established staple food. As a result of this vigorous promotion done by the wheat associates, the consumption of bakery products and other wheat products have risen very significantly in these states. And today, we will be surprised in a predominantly rice-eating state like Kerala. Per capita consumption of bread is highest in the country. This is all due to the promotional efforts done for promoting wheat as a part of our diet by wheat associates, as well as by the efforts done by the Government of India in setting up a chain of bakery units across the country to promote wheat consumption, particularly in rice-eating areas. There is a reason for promoting wheat because we were food deficit at that time. We didn't have wheat green revolution and food surpluses at that time. And rice availability is very restricted, and government had no choice except to promote wheat as an alternate staple food for us. And it was an extremely successful experiment. And the chain of bakeries that were set up to promote wheat consumption were extremely successful. And even today, they continue to conduct this role of promoting wheat and wheat products in all these states through a brand called Modern Bread, with which we are all familiar. Mr. Kandhari spent 30 to 40 years spearheading the movement for promoting wheat and helped establish number of baking schools to promote the human resources, capable human resources for the industry. He was instrumental in setting up baking school at Anand and also at several other places, and led this movement on a continuous basis to promote wheat consumption across the country. He also played a very significant role in developing capable human resources for the ongoing developing bakery products industry in the country, and helped the technical executives in organized and semi-organized industries to study at the American Institute of Baking to get advanced knowledge in baking science and technology for the benefit of the Indian industry. Several of us, including me, I'm a beneficiary of this program of Wheat Associates, having had my training at the American Institute of Baking at that time in Chicago. So many accomplishments to be cited about Mr. Kandhari's mission to promote wheat consumption across the country, and it is now more than fulfilled, and wheat has become a part of our diet. In fact, it is the number 2 cereal consumption in the country today. With these few words, I think we will have a video show on Mr. Kandhari's mission in wheat promotion. Are we having the video? video in? Okay. No, this is power. Okay, there. इसको बंद कर देगा, वो उसमें कर देगा. We'll show the video first. I think this is a slideshow, not a video, but this will give a glimpse of what Mr. Kandhari's contribution is to the promotion of wheat in this country. After this, I will speak for 5 minutes. Yeah. PPT. So we have seen what an amount of work was done by Mr. Kandhari at various forums in promoting wheat to the position that we are now today. It is my honor and privilege to speak a little more about the subject that is closest to his heart, and that is, he has done a lot in developing the bakery industry. Now after him, what is our future, next steps in developing the bakery industry? So I will speak on the future trends of bakery industry in India. We know that bakery industry one of the largest segments in food processing sector in India. In fact, it is the largest segment. And we are the second largest producers of biscuits after USA. But we are the largest consumers, though we are the second largest producers. We are the largest consumers of biscuits in the world. And we have about 2,000 organized and semi-organized bakeries in the organized sector, and about more than 1 million small and tiny units, small and medium sector units engaged in baking operations. And the total production currently is about 3 million tons in both organized and small sector put together. It's offering huge opportunities for future growth and lot of scope for innovation. Already the large players are doing innovation regularly to come out with new concepts and new products suitable for the consumers, to meet the consumer requirements, emerging consumer requirements. If we look at the future of bakery industry as forecasted by several market research studies, in 2022, it was about $11.2 billion size industry. It is poised to grow by 2028 in another 4 years, almost double to $20 billion US dollar business. And by 2032, we will be 25 billion US dollar business. That is the size of the baking industry in future. And we are already in that direction, growing in that direction, and I'm sure these forecasted figures will come true. The change in consumption patterns is taking place. Consumers' perceptions are changing, and the requirements of processed food, of different types of processed food, including bakery products, is changing constantly. And the industry is gearing up to meet the consumer aspirations on a continuous basis so that the industry continues to grow and attain the status that it has got today. Going back to the developing stage of the bakery industry, the period from 1965 to 1975 is what I would like to call it as the grand period of growth for the industry. That was the time when we were transiting from street corner bakeries selling bread across the counter to organized bakeries coming with a distribution and retailing network to service the customers across the cities and towns. And that is where accelerated growth was taking place during that period, and therefore I say it is a grand period of growth. And during this period, Government of India has set up a chain of bakeries across the country in different states to make wheat consumption popular in a form that is acceptable to the people. Bread was recognized and conceived as a convenient food product by the people in those days. Later on, it graduated to a product that is not merely convenient, but also nutritionally superior. And it became part of the breakfast items, as well as got placed into the lunch boxes of school-going children, as well as the office-going public. So that elevation of the status of bread from just a sick man's diet to a convenience product and to a nutritious product, healthy product, to become a part of our regular diet, that period of 1965 to 75 played a very critical role. As a part of this mission, in setting up bakeries in non-wheat areas, the consumption of wheat rose in geometric progression in those states. And wheat has come to be regarded as an essential commodity. And today, in a state like Tamil Nadu or Kerala, which are dedicated rice-eating states, per capita consumption of bread is the highest. You can imagine the impact that was created by promotional efforts of US Wheat Associates, as well as the modern public sector baking company, the modern food industries across the country. The onset of 21st century, the consumer perceptions have undergone further change, and today they are not just looking for nutritious or fortified bread, but bread that has got health benefits, bread that is good for health. Some people perceive that gluten-free bread is more healthy than the total wheat bread. Is a misconception. I won't go into discussion of that at this stage, but let me tell you there is a market for gluten-free products for whatever it is, and it is growing slowly. Also, value-added products with high value delivery, nutritional value delivery, like vitamin fortified products, like products with higher protein fortification, products which are formulated to contain immunonutrients to afford immunity benefits, particularly after the corona. This sector is slowly coming up and becoming popular. Today the consumer looks for health and wellness when he buys a processed food like bread. The days that bread was bought for convenience sake or for as a staple, we have graduated from that and come to a stage where it is reckoned as what it can do in terms of health and wellness to me and my family. That is the driving force with which the market is now focused with. So this is the emerging trends: nutrition, health benefits beyond the basic nutrition, and technology upgradation. As we are creating new plants, new capacities, the existing plants and equipment also are undergoing a drastic upgradation in technology to catch up with the quality aspirations of the people, as well as to improve the operational efficiencies of the baking units. And I will also speak for a few minutes on sustainability in relation to baking industry. Sustainability is a term that is more often spoken and written about, but very less in action. That is the single most important criteria for development, future development of any industry, particularly bakery industry as well. The consumer preference for products containing high protein, high fortification with essential vitamins and minerals, health benefits beyond basic nutrition, prebiotics in bakery products, and a new term that has come into existence now is postbiotics. I will briefly explain that. But immunonutrition is also coming in a big way in association with bakery products. So these are a few examples of fortified bakery products, particularly bread, 100% whole wheat bread, and the modern white sandwich bread. This is fortified with vitamin A, vitamin B1, B2, niacin, and calcium. In earlier days, we were also fortifying with iron in recognition of the fact that iron was a limiting mineral in our daily diets, particularly for women. But calcium fortification, particularly with whole wheat products, is meaningful because the higher the extraction rate, the more the incorporation of bran into the product, the higher will be the binding of calcium and iron in our bioavailability. Because the higher levels of bran containing phytates, they bind calcium and iron and make them reasonably unavailable. And therefore, calcium fortification is an important step in ensuring better health for the people, particularly in products containing multigrain type of products are products containing a higher proportion of bran like whole wheat breads. Protein fortification of bread is another area that is catching up, because we all know wheat is a great cereal containing 10 to 12% of protein. But when it comes to bread, we have only about 7 to 8% protein, and other bakery products also contain relatively low quantity of protein. To ensure adequate protein delivery, companies have taken up to protein fortification as a part of offering a value-added product through higher protein. Protein fortification is such a new area for us. We have been doing it for a very long time. In fact, this bread that I showed there contains about 20% protein as against 8% protein in our regular bread. It is not the protein quantity that is important. Wheat protein, by its own very nature, the protein quality is not that great compared to other legume proteins or soy protein and things like that. Wheat protein, like other cereal proteins, is deficient in certain essential amino acids, particularly lysine, and therefore fortifying with a protein that has got good quality, that has good essential amino acid scores will make a lot of meaning in elevating the protein quality of bread as well, in addition to improving the quantity of protein delivered. A lot of work has been done on protein fortification of bread at CFTRI, Mysuru, as well as by our company in Modern Food Industries. And we used to produce in the 1970s bread with 15% protein for the vulnerable sections of children and mothers in the urban areas. And high protein bread today has become popular in consumer markets as well. I know I am running out of time because the time limitations we have. Let me go fast. These are some of the examples of high fiber. The prebiotic fortification of bread. This is an immuno bread concept developed by Modern Foods after Corona. This is another bread that was developed with immunonutrients, particularly compounds that are good for development of immunity like curcumin. So coming to sustainability, which is a very important area for our future development, we have broadly 3 dimensions of sustainability: social, economic, environmental. I know we as a business, baking industry as a business, we are quite conscious of economic sustainability. I'm not going to speak on the first 2, but environmental sustainability is a very important factor that needs to be addressed by baking industries as we go forward with higher production levels, with higher processing of bread-related products. As an example, I have given here 1 metric ton of bread that we produce consumes about 37.5 liters of diesel. And that creates a carbon footprint of 100 kilograms of carbon dioxide. This is 1 metric ton. We produce 3 million metric tons of bakery products in this country. You can imagine the quantum of contribution to carbon footprint in terms of our bakery products, enormous. For 3 million metric tons, if we translate this figure, it will be in gigatons, not in small tons, but gigatons. So we can control this, we can address this problem. Yeah. So this is the emissions of carbon dioxide in India currently up to starting from 1950 to current. You see how steeply it is going up. And we need to address this as an industry to control and contain the emissions to a level that is permissible, to a level that we are operating at 1950s. Well, the other areas that needs to be addressed in relation to sustainability is the wastage of food in terms of replacements in baking industry, the defective production in baking industry that needs to be controlled so as to protect our environment and contain the sustainability factor. Yeah. So with this, I conclude to emphasize that our growth has to be rapid, consistent with controlling the sustainability and implementing the sustainability factors to control the environment. We have a responsibility to deliver not only health and nutrition to the consumers, but also protect the environment of the consumers, and therefore we need to keep at the back of our mind the importance of sustainability while developing the industry further in the country. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry for taking more time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks indeed. So for us to have all the speakers on board, it is my request that the introductions will not be done over announcement. We will have the introductions of all speakers flashed on the screen when they are coming, and we just head to the point so that everybody gets the opportunity and we are in a position to hear everybody. I hope that's fine. So we can have the next speaker in. Ma'am?
Yeah. The next speaker is Mr. Biren Palani, Managing Director of Stern Ingredients India.
Is it working? Yes. Namaste. I guess the introduction was to come from our Dr. Lutz Popper, who is our chief scientist, who would have explained you. You started? Okay, fair enough.
Someone from all the way from America.
No, Germany.
We have it as Dr. Lutz Popper, Scientific Director of Muehlenchemie GmBh Co. KG. Carry on, please.
Obviously, it's to me to speak now. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much to the organizers for inviting me to this conference. I apologize for not being with you in person. I hope, nevertheless, that I can contribute to the success of this conference. I try to share my screen, if this is okay for you now. Yeah. Surprise. I don't see the PowerPoint. That's interesting. Yeah. So, my topic is gluten replacement. That's actually a short title, and well, maybe it's a little bit more complicated than that. Now, as we have heard, we have been brought to consuming wheat and a lot of different varieties of baked goods in particular, but also as cereals. And now the industry sometimes struggles to get wheat with a sufficiently high protein content and also a sufficient protein quality. And this is what I would like to talk about. How can we cope with these difficulties? Well, the lack of protein or protein quality could be due to crop damage, for instance, heat damage, which could be the consequence of the climate change. And then sometimes we see a shortage of hard wheat and in certain regions, also for climate reasons, for instance, but also for political reasons, wars, for instance. And in the consequence, the prices fluctuate, they increase a lot in a short time. And so the industry is looking for sourcing wheat from different areas, cheaper wheat maybe from areas that sometimes are new actually in the field and that may deliver wheat with a lower gluten content and also a lower gluten quality. And then there's another tendency also to cope with the fluctuation of wheat quality and wheat prices. It is the incorporation of non-wheat flours, for instance, from soy, maize, beans, cassava, rice, you name it. And then we are talking about composite flours. And of course, when you mix wheat flour with a non-wheat flour, then you reduce our most precious substance, the gluten, and you will also lose some of the functionality of the wheat. So we have seen tremendous fluctuation of the wheat prices recently. And in 2008, there was one, and most recently in 2022, after the invasion of the Ukraine by Russia. Fortunately, the prices have been driven down after that. However, it appears to be essential to the industry to have possibilities to cope with those increases, sudden increases. So it is advisable to know about composite flour, for instance, so that you can switch to other raw materials for a short time, as you can see, to buffer the price increases. So if you think that you can simply switch to a wheat with a lower protein, which usually is cheaper, and then add vital wheat gluten, this is probably not possible because the wheat gluten prices, they follow, not surprisingly, the wheat prices, or maybe with a little delay. So maybe you have a short gap, a short window where you actually can buy wheat with lower protein and add gluten, but the window is very small. So this is not really a solution. Well, we'll see in the future more and more fluctuation of the weather due to the climate change. Not necessarily every year will be hotter and drier or wetter. However, we'll see large fluctuations with large peaks of the temperature and rainfalls or drought. And this here shows how the annual temperature, the annual mean temperature developed in France. It's actually a country with a moderate climate, but you can see that recently the temperature was much higher in average than the decades before. And this will have an impact on the wheat yield, on the wheat quality and the wheat yield. Each time the average global temperature increases by approximately 1 degree Celsius, the grain production is reduced by 6%. And we have to compensate this. So maybe increasing the wheat production is not the only solution. Maybe we also have to look for other crops. 6% equate to more than 40 million tons of wheat. And there is also an impact on the quality. So I just want to focus on the protein here. For instance, the heat stress has a positive effect actually on the protein quantity, and so has the increased CO2 levels, the drought stress. However, the CO2 levels, they result, the increasing CO2 levels, they result in a decreased protein quantity. And as for the protein quality, it decreases with heat stress, and it decreases also with increased CO2 levels. So we'll have all this in the future with the climate change. And there are other factors. This chart shows the contributing effect of some environmental factors nitrogen fertilization, wheat variety, and protein content on winter wheat protein. On the protein content of winter wheat. And here you can see that also the fertilization methods are very important. And why is this important? Because the production of nitrogen fertilizers contributes to CO2 production. It's an industry that consumes a lot of energy. This is one, and the other reason is, or the other problem is that addition of nitrogen fertilizers on the soil also leads to higher amounts of nitrate in the water, the drinking water, which is also negative for health, may result in more cancer. So in areas where the wheat is fertilized, now there is a tendency to reduce the fertilizer, and this will affect, as shown by this chart, also the protein content. So another reason to try to cope with the fluctuating protein content. Well, there have been solutions, enzymatic solutions, around for quite a while, and it's well known that with enzymes you can compensate for a lack of protein. And this chart, we created this by air classifying a single wheat lot or wheat flour lot. So we air classified the wheat flour into fractions with more or less protein, and then we looked for the volume yield, and of course for the fractions with the lower protein, 10.8%, the volume yield was lower, whereas with the highest protein it was highest. And then we can see that with an additional enzyme, a simple xylanase and amylase compound, we were able to cope for the volume loss. And you can also see that a wheat flour with a higher protein has also a higher potential. So when you add this enzyme to the flour with a higher protein content, then you also get a higher volume. Nevertheless, if you were satisfied by the volume yield of the high protein flour without a lot of flour treatment, then you could easily use a flour with a lower protein content and achieve the same volume yield. However, volume yield is not the only property that we are after. We are also after the processing properties. And this is something that this slide doesn't show. It is not unlikely that with a high dosage of this type of enzymes, you'll also get, for instance, some stickiness or some weakness of the dough, which nevertheless may result in a higher volume, because you need extensibility of the dough to get a nice volume. But maybe the shape is impaired by the soft dough. This is not included when you use a simple enzyme mixture comprising amylases and xylanases. So it has to be a little bit more sophisticated than that. And we actually put a lot of work into this. And we came up with some so-called gluten enhancers. And here you can see the effect of the gluten enhancer when we try to optimize, or not to optimize, but to improve a lower protein flour, 11.4% instead of 13.1%. And as you can see, with only 0.2% of this gluten enhancer, we got more or less the same results in volume and shape, and also in dough stability. And here's another example for a whole meal wheat flour with only 11.12%, where usually 5% of vital wheat gluten are added. And we reduced this addition by to 2% and added 0.3% of the gluten enhancer. So we replaced 3% of the gluten by 10% of the gluten enhancer compound. We ended up with a total protein content of 12.8%, and as you can see, the results are similar. Now maybe the previous speaker may say, oh, the protein content is lower. That's That's very true, and that's indeed an issue. However, that's also another discussion, as he mentioned already. Maybe we have to raise the bioavailability of the protein that is in the wheat protein. I think that would be very useful, not by adding vital wheat gluten actually, because producing vital wheat gluten means that you first have to produce the wheat and extract the protein from the wheat flour, meaning that your wheat consumption is even higher. And I think it's not a solution to add vital wheat gluten, so wheat protein. I rather suggest to add other protein, for instance, from soybean, and then compensate for the lack of performance by enhancers, by gluten enhancers, or by adding lysine, for instance, to improve the bioavailability. But that's another story. My next example is the replacement of hard wheat by soft wheat. Typically, soft wheats contain less protein than hard wheats and have a lower performance. However, they also have a lower price. So flour mills and also bakers, sometimes they have to replace the hard wheat by soft wheat. However, they lose performance. And in this example, we show that we can increase the share of the soft wheat in a mix by 10% by using only 0.1% of the very same enhancer. The basic treatment of all flours is always the same in my examples. And yet another example here is the composite flour that I mentioned before. This is the composite flour is cassava flour is a very typical application, for instance, in Nigeria, but also in Indonesia, because they have a domestic cultivation of cassava, so they produce the cassava flour or tapioca, and sometimes it is even subsidized and cheaper than flour. So then, of course, the bakers, they like to use it, but typically it's more expensive. Nevertheless, there may be mandatory reasons to replace wheat flour by cassava flour, and then, of course, you lose wheat performance. And in this example here, we had an addition of 10% cassava flour. And I show here that although, I have to start again. To cope for the loss of performance, 4% of gluten had to be added to get the same performance of this composite flour as for the pure wheat flour. So, and we replaced 3% of this 4% of the added gluten by 0.3% of the gluten enhancer. We ended up at 11.4% protein, but as you can see, the baking results were at least as good as with the added gluten, if not even better.
1 minute, please. 1 minute left. Thank you.
Yes.
1 minute. Thank you.
So, to summarize this, the cassava flour contains only 1% of non-gluten protein. So this impairs, of course, the performance. And typically, this missing protein is compensated by vital wheat gluten. However, this is expensive, and as I mentioned, it's not sustainable. So it's better to have a solution like our gluten enhancer. So, and then there is a case study from West Africa where hard wheat was replaced by French wheat. And I switched to the baking results here. We tested replacement of 30 up to 30% of the hard wheat, and we came up with a result that up to 20% can replace the remaining 10% of the hard wheat flour, resulted in acceptable and very good baking results with even a higher volume. And you can see here the baking results and the pictures here for baguette. Actually, in West Africa, they produce baguette. And with the 0% hard wheat, you see that there are some problems with the cut, with the opening of the cut. However, for remaining 10 or 20%, the cut is pretty well developed, and also in the stress test over fermentation, the cut is still opening very well, and this is something that the people in this area appreciate. So with this, my summary here, but I think you can read this in the PDF later, so I can end with this slide. Thank you very much for
Thank you very much.
your
Dr. Lutz,
attention.
thank you so very much. We're moving on to our next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Popper, for the very interesting lecture. Our next speaker is Mr. Sundar, Head and Managing Partner of VMARS.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Am I audible? Good afternoon. I thank the organizers of WPS for giving me an opportunity to present my topic. Today is on biscuits and bread enzymes, okay, from the industrial angle. What are enzymes? You know, my topic today is going to be on enzymes. A lot of people have already spoken about enzymes. But this is, I just want to introduce a topic that makes a huge difference to our industrial products. So it's basically an industrial perspective. What are enzymes? Enzymes are basically biological catalysts. They're used in the food processing industry to bring about a chemical transformation. You know, example is starch liquefations in alcohol production or breakdown of starches in the bakery operations. Basically, enzymes are proteins. Proteins means a long, chain of amino acids connected by peptide bonds and folded into a specific three-dimensional orientations. Enzymes are very, very specific. Like, in the subsequent slides, I'll explain to you about the same thing. The enzymes are basically can be of animal origin or plant or yeast, mold, etc. Sorry, I'm given only 8 minutes. I had to do 400 meters in 100-meter time. There are about 2,500 enzymes that human being, has got. When we take a slice of bread, it feels sweet because of enzyme in the saliva, which acts on the starch, breaks down the starch, and gives you the sugar. Enzymes are also present significantly for various, you would have heard about lactose allergy. It is because an enzyme lactase is, missing in with you. There are no life possibility without enzymes. Ripening of banana is a typical enzymatic action. When you cut an apple, the browning is due to enzymatic action. Enzymes are very popular in the dairy industry, in the meat industry, in the beverages, whether it is alcoholic or soft, and not but last the least, in the bakery industry. What are enzymes? Enzymes are basically biological catalysts with enormous catalytic power. They are very, very specific. What do you mean by specific? I'll explain. They are proteins and they act typically in very mild conditions. That means temperatures have to be moderate and the pH has to be within a range. There are about 10,000 different types of enzymes. Usually, how are these enzymes produced? In fact, there are a couple of companies in India who are very big in enzyme production. And most of the enzymes that we get in the country are also from European sources or American sources. What are these enzymes? Enzymes are basically microorganisms. They can be bacteria or fungi. They are produced by using it in the closed vessel, exposed to a rich broth of nutrients, and high concentration of oxygen. Microorganisms present break down the nutrients and they releases the enzyme into the solutions, which are further, concentrated, filtered, and given to you either in liquid form or in crystal forms. What are the characters of enzymes? Enzymes actually they basically work in very mild conditions, as I told you earlier. They act only on a specific substrate. That means the enzyme that you are using will either act on a protein or on carbohydrate or on fat. An enzyme will not randomly act on all the three substrates. That is what we mean by specific action. They're very, very fast and numerous in nature. There are a lot of applications which I'll be touching upon. The enzymes follow typically a lock and key mechanism. You can have identical locks, but only a specific key will open the lock. Similarly, a specific enzyme will operate on a specific substrate and will give you, like for example, a maltose into 2-glucose. Okay. What are the factors that affects the enzyme actions? One is pH. They operate only in a particular pH for optimum actions. Similarly, they also operate in a particular temperature range. If the temperatures are very high, they get denatured. If the temperatures are very low, the activity is very low. Also, the iron also has got an action on enzymes. What are the typical enzymes that we use in bread? We already earlier spoke about amylase and hemocellulase. Actually, in our country, where the wheat is typically medium hard, we don't get fancy 13%, 14% gluten wheat at all for the bakery. We don't grow the wheat for bakery industry at all, for bread industry. So the usage of enzyme has actually completely changed the way we look at the bread operations now. What are all the enzymes? Typically, that is used in the bread, it is amylases, maltogenic amylases, hemicellulase, lipase, and glucosidase. Okay. What do you mean by all these things? For this, let us go back to the wheat. If you look at the wheat consists of carbohydrate, protein, water, fat, and minerals. And if you look at a carbohydrate critically, they consist of starch, sugar, and cellulose. So there are a lot of substrates available, and there is an opportunity to use enzymes so that we are able to get the maximum, result out of the enzymatic action on the wheat. Some of the nomenclatures typically used are proteases, they act on the proteins. Lipases, they act on the fats and oils. Maltase, they act on maltose. Amylases, they act on amylose. Okay, let me just talk about amylase a little bit here. This is the most popular enzyme. Enzyme in 80s used to be only amylose in this country. We never had anything beyond that. I started using amylose way back in 79-80. And amylase is typically added in the spawn stage in a yeast leaven product. Amylases act on the starch matrix. What are starch matrix? The next slide, I'll tell you that. They typically have a random action on both amylase as well as amylopectin. A little complication, Starch consists of amylose and amylopectin. Starch is nothing but a glucose chain. If the glucose chain are linearly oriented, it is called amylose. If they are branch orientation, it's called amylopectin. Okay. What are the sources of amylose? It can be a sprouted wheat. Way back in 1984, when I was assistant factory manager of Britannia in Delhi, it had rained, a premature shower we had. So the falling number means the maltose value of the wheat was so low we could never produce wheat. I'm sure Dr. Krishna will, agree with me on that. We could not produce any wheat, and wheat was a essential commodity in the city of Delhi. Delhi used to consume those days 4 lakh loaves. So if you deny, production of bread, then there will be a problem. So we had to find a solution. Enzymatic solutions actually helped us to save the day that time. Malted barley is another source. Fungal organism or bacterial organisms are other sources. Okay, this is what I mean. If you look at the glucose chain, the linear orientation is called amylose. Enzyme amylase will act on the amylose. It will cleave and give you glucose or maltose or polysaccharides or lipid dextrins. There are certain enzymes which will act on the branch chains, which are maltogenic amylases. That also cleaves and gives you limit dextrin. And what does a limit dextrin do? The limit dextrin creates a property in the bread which improves the water absorption property of the water retention of the bread. That means the bread will not become hard in 3 days or 4 days.
Sorry, sir, you'll have to kindly conclude. I'm so sorry.
2 minutes?
Yes.
I had to rush. Sorry about it. Okay. I spoke, mainly about the bread enzymes. Let me introduce a very interesting concept which is very much happening in this country. These are biscuit enzymes. 1 minute, I'll show you the slide, the action of the enzymes. See, the combination of enzymes give you a product. You can see on the left, one with the enzymes has given you a white texture. The other one is a control, which is a brown texture. You can see it better here. The one on the left is with the enzymes, combination of enzymes. The other one is the control with our 10% gluten wheat. I've given you the data, the weight also, The one with the bold volume is 380 grams, one with the less volume is 410 grams. These enzymes, when you isomerize them, that means the same chemical formula but a different structure, they give rise to biscuit enzymes. Okay, I'll cut all this, I'll show you the result. The slides are slow. See, when you do an enzymatic treatment to a biscuit dough, can you see the result? One on the left side is a control, the other side is, for the same volume, we are getting a different weight. There is a weight saving of 4 grams. If you see a glucose biscuit, you achieved a weight of 67 grams as against 75 grams, which is the normal weight. If you look at another short dough product, a choco chip cookie, one on the left side is without the enzymes. On the right side, with the enzymes, you can see a gloss, a glow, and the stack. That means the volume of the product is also more. It is 47 millimeters against 43 millimeters. And what are these products? What do they do? You see the pack. One on the right is a bold pack for the same weight. Similarly, if you see a cracker, a sweet and salt cracker, one on the right-hand side gives you a gloss, a glow, and a higher stack length. And if you see the pack weight, it's a surprising result. You see, one down, all of you are used to that product, that is 69 grams. The other one is 64 grams, but that one is much larger than the 69 gram weight. That is what enzymes do in biscuits. If you see a very popular brand, without the enzymes, and with the enzymes, you can see the glow, the gloss, and the stack length. This is 61 millimeters, that is 68 millimeters. And what does it do? The pack looks much larger. And if you look at the weight, a typical parlay packet is 50 grams, the other one is 43 grams. So a 43 gram pack is looking larger than a 50 gram. So it makes a lot of commercial sense, So just to summarize, the biscuit enzymes are revolutionizing the industry. Dr. Krishna mentioned that, we are the second largest manufacturer of biscuits. No, we are the largest manufacturer of biscuits. Our figures are way beyond our imagination today. It is 8.8 million tons of biscuits we produce. Just Britannia alone produces 1.2 million tons. Parle produces 1.4 million tons. There are another 150 companies here in this country. So that is the opportunity that is there. If you can play around with the bread enzymes, isomerize them, convert them and make them, hydrophobic, bread enzymes are hydrophilic. They have affinity for water. They want to absorb water, whereas biscuit is all about baking out the moisture. So it has to be hydrophobic. And that is what we have done. And this has completely revolutionized the basic concept of usage of enzyme in biscuits. People typically will talk about, proteolytic enzymes. Enzymes can be used in fermented dough. Today we are using the enzymes in short dough, which is like glucose biscuits. We are doing biscuits like Mari, which is hard dough biscuits. We are also using in, cream crackers. We are using in fermented varieties. Enzyme uses in biscuit industry is virtually on par with the bread industry. What does, finally, just to summarize.
Mr. Sundar, we're just out of time.
Just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Enzymes, you can reduce the fat by 30 to 40% in the recipe. Fat is the costliest ingredient in the biscuits. It improves the mouthfeel. Even after reducing the fat, it improves the mouthfeel. The color improves, as we saw in the slide. The stack and the volume improves. The weight reduces. Basically, it makes your industry viable. We are, remember, in a 5 rupee packet industry. If you have to sustain it for another 20 more years, the way we have sustained the last 20 years, this is the way. With this, I finish my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you indeed for the magic powder, the enzyme that you have introduced to the audience. My apologies if I have rushed you through. Just a small, brief little thing for all the speakers. We will have everybody's PPT uploaded on our website, and it'll be there. The presentations will be there. So it's my humble request that we conclude on time, and I'm not saying everybody to rush through, but the pertinent point definitely be made and as crisp as possible. Mr. Jayaprakash, your turn, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Jayaprakash Sharma, yeah, General Manager, Key Account Management, Buehler India Private Limited.
Thank you. By the time the PPT gets ready, Mr. Jayaprakash Sharma is a senior technical professional with an engineering and management education background, boasting over 30 years of experience.
Thank you, madam, and thank you, organized committee.
In sales.
Always pleasure to be here when we talk about our organization and our latest challenges and opportunities. So in my presentation, I'm going to talk. It's not showing there. Not coming there. Can you? Yeah. It's not moving. Maybe I have to move. Yeah.
Not using Buehler technology,
Yeah. Okay, so I will talk about challenges, and we already heard about sustainability, future food, and all other factors. So being a time limitations, I will not talk much on it, but we all know the challenges, and same time these are the opportunity also, how to really come out with these challenges. The most challenge what I see here that we have been talking in the every meeting or any such seminars also about how really to work on the wastage from the farm to fork. So that is the one of the thing what I see that as our organization also see. We also, I think, strongly believe in that, how to really come out with that. So in that, the Buehler tagline is very clear that the waste, reduce the waste, energy and water 50%. Towards that, we always work on it. And in some of the product, we got that also, like masa flour, and then texture TVP, texture vegetable protein food. In that, we achieve that. And how we are replacing that with the basically meat and other product. Then Buehler is associated with globally that how actually we are working towards that. Basically, we have the 30 manufacturing setup globally, 105 in 105 is the service stations and other facilities. We are working towards that and localization of the things. Our relevance is basically how to really feed the maximum of the 2 billion people. And 1 billion this also because we are in the different automobile industry also. I will talk on that. So when we talk about Buehler, we can see that how we are get associated with the all product starting in the morning, this fine filament to the food and the bravery and the automobile industry, the die casting and all. So we are associated with all of you or the globally with the human being that how really we are supporting or we are working towards to that. It means complete food chain and other business lines also. And when proudly we say that we are today, we are known to be milling company, that we proudly say that 65% means most of the business unit, we have the good market share in the industry. And there are areas that I already talk about that malting, we have the good market share, not because of the brand or something. We have been developing day by day, or we invest our 5% revenue in the R&D or development or innovation. The most trend factor which I want to talk to here, that is the trend of the mega food park. The purpose which basically I want to touch upon here, that today is basically how we really have this type of concept in the industry. There we can have the, I would say, the running cost very less or reduction, have well controlled quality control from the storage to milling to packing and different products. This is the one of the things which is happening, and that's how it actually this support in the basically in the engineering project management as well as in the your automation, operation excellency, traceability, all factors will support in this type of concept. And we have done this, proudly say that we have done this in Samaria Seed, Jaipur. There we have this complete food chain from shallow storage to means after cutting point, there is no touch point till the biscuit or cookies getting packed. We have complete that kind of system there. Coming to manufacturing, we have started our manufacturing Sortex here, means the local things we are increasing, and our target to increase our export 50% in 25 from India, like Sortex earlier used to be, or other machines. We already started our plant shifter and purifiers in India manufacturing. These are some challenges we see, that how actually Miller sees that how to really quality can be focused, how to really baker need the continuous consistency in their product. Ingredient, we already talked earlier, two speakers already talk about it. Then ready to mix. So these solutions we have. When we talk about the industry, I'm sorry to present this slide, but we have still challenges. So we are here to support to this upgrade these mills from the existing to how to really increase the extraction, how to increase the, how to reduce the power consumption, and how to have the basically less footprint and the any solution like flour milling, we all know that. But when you talk about besan, when we talk about atta, I will talk a bit more on atta in my coming slides. Then coming to the main factor which we are talking about, engineering solutions and how to really work on the customized flow sheets. And day by day, the demand of the basically institutional buyers, they want very focused approach for their product. When they say, I want this, that has to be without any challenges. You can pack for 1 or 2, 3, your main suppliers, buyers.
Jayaprakash ji, my Swiss watch is telling me you have 1 minute left.
Yeah, I really, you're putting me in challenge again and again. Myself itself is running very fast. So I think we should have the purpose of the presentation. Sure. In future, I request you that please keep time to have such presentations. So coming to engineering, like we are working one of the flour mill here, Mega Star, they are the completely different flow sheet, 300 TPD plant, completely. That is going to be a one of the different flow sheet or different plant in the North India, and it's going to be first in India. That way we are working. So basically we are working on the customized with the automation, but engineering, these are some products, the higher capacity. I have been hearing about Bueller destoner. We have the higher capacity machines. We have higher cleaning machines, and Bueller, all machines are closed machine. When we talk about sustainability, when we talk about the 1/3 wastage, such machines support in the entire value chain. When Sortex, you might have heard now, earlier, initially the Sortex considered to be luxury, but today it has become mandatory, and we have that solution. Then these are again the same thing which I am talking. I quickly go through. Atta now is really taking gear up. The bread manufacturer, biscuit manufacturer, they are asking to have the high fiber, then our pizza atta is going to be in demand, means supplier, they are asking for that, just can we have the pizza atta, even though we are hearing that chakki press, end of the day, how do we get the star damage and how we get the granulation about atta is basic two things, which actually everybody we know that. So we are coming up with that and we are growing within this. Just I want to tell in this complete forum that our atta pizza technology is growing and day by day we are selling these machines. Coming to the floor heat treatment, we have sold the first plant to Parisons and other things is happening. These are some new development. And one new development globally we have done, Mealy 3, which has a less footprint and less power consumption. All other factors are there. We sold around more than 15 plants globally in last 2 years. Yeah, this again, same thing. We talk about engineering, we talk about automation, and we own the customer. So let us drive future of food together. So this is from my side.
Thank you very much, sir.
Once again, I would like to request that please, whenever you have such, please allow us to talk about more. Thank you, sir.
My apologies. And it's a highly aspirational product like the Mercedes and Rolex, so we don't want to miss your presentation ever.
No. We are not Mercedes. We want to be here everywhere. So
thank you, sir. Thank you. My apologies.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jaiprakash Sharma. The next speaker is Ms. Bhavya Gupta, Executive Director of Floor Tech Engineers Private Limited. I also want to apologize that I'm unable to introduce them more than this. They are all very accomplished people. Sorry.
It's just behind on the screen, ma'am. No problem.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Yes. Okay. I'm Bhavya Gupta, the Executive Director of Floor Tech Engineers Private Limited. For more than 3 decades, we have been a part of this industry, and I'm proud to say we have grown as a globally recognized manufacturer of grain processing machinery. I am thrilled to be here today to discuss on how the revolution in this industry is proving its mettle. Excuse me. Okay. Slow. Yeah. We have people here who are veterans in this industry and even older than the industry itself. They have seen how flour mills have traditionally been working, the conventional flour mills, how they work and how they have been. And they have seen how they have transformed into the modern flour milling technologies and techniques that we are seeing today. They are acquainted with the conventional and the modern techniques. And I must say that it has been a revolution that has taken place in this industry. The advancement in this industry has put its foot into the technological upgrades in flour milling designs, infrastructure and buildings, machinery and equipment, milling processes and practices also. We have seen how our roller mill, the machine which is also known as the heart of this process, has been modernized from gear-driven hydraulic operated diagonal roller mills to manually handled to a modernized timing belt pulley driven VFD controlled pneumatically operated and much more automated operations, making it highly efficient and energy saving. And now we are moving towards directly driven roller mills, which are still under research and development. Similarly, for plant sifter, how conventional wooden plant sifters are getting replaced by modern metallic plant sifters, which are much more efficient, easy to operate, and space saving. Revolution in this industry is also making a positive effect on our operational practices. We all have used the old type of dampeners and water addition methods in our flour milling. However, all is being transformed to automated dampening systems. Now, however, all is being transformed to automated dampening systems, water addition, and moisture control, and automatic moisture control systems. Highly technical and PLC-based machinery is a part of our flour mill nowadays. It is not only the equipment which is getting upgraded, but even the process has now been upgraded and is continually being upgraded. The process we used to follow was much more labor intensive, used to consume a lot of energy, and was a constant struggle to maintain balance, maintain a balance between efficiency and quality. Honed through continuous efforts and dedication, there is a fascinating transformation and evolution in the process. It is much more automated, meaning lesser dependency on labor, and energy efficient too. Nowadays, it is much easier to maintain a balance in between the extraction, load, variety, and quality in the product. The voyage has not halted here. My respected superiors and colleagues, we all believe that it would go a long way ahead. Various upgrades are on its way, as we can see in the ongoing revolution. The phenomena of eliminating wood completely from the flour milling practices is now being taken care of. New food-grade polyurethane plant sifter boxes have been introduced and eventually will become a part of our equipment. Using of weighing scales, PLC communicated SCADA systems enabled with MIS and material handling, equipments are taking us from bench visualization to pocket visualization, putting the analysis of production data at our fingertips. Embracing the power of automation and its potential to improve and brighten this industry's future, I would urge everyone to let's keep this revolution going together so that it could lead us to a better and prosperous future. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Ms. Gupta, I'm going to give you a prize for finishing before time.
Thank you, Ms. Gupta. The next speaker is Mr. Rizwan Yusuf Ali, Global Program Director of Ignite TechnoServe.
On behalf of him, he has got his team here who will come and present. Thank you very much. First, I think there is a video on Mr. Yusuf Ali. Please, can you play the video? Short video. Thank you.
Nothing means more to us than the future of our children.
And in our jobs as millers, we know that the vitamins and minerals we add to the food we produce will help our families and thousands of families like ours
to grow up strong, to succeed, and to pursue their dreams.
So we try to make our rice, flour, and oil as nutritious as we can,
to the highest possible quality.
Because we know that doing this will make a big difference to our businesses.
And an even bigger difference to the health of our community.
Right now, many millers want to fortify wind, yet the technical and the financial handles that stand their way are much too high. This means millions of people still aren't getting the vital nutrients they need. Millers for Nutrition is here to change that. We are a growing community of millers and industry partners spanning the globe, helping millers become the heroes of healthy, more nutritious food. We are up and running in 8 countries, providing top-level training, testing, and technical support. Making good fortification make more sense to the bottom line. This is a win-win for everyone because better product quality helps business bloom and boosts the health of their customers. Do this well, we reach millions of people. Do this really well, in just 3 years, we'll reach 1 billion.
We are Millers for Business,
Millers untuk komunitas,
Millers for families,
Millers for children,
Millers for nutrition.
Thank you so very much. And now we'll have Mr. Rizwan Yusuf Ali online, and he is online. A warm welcome to you, sir. Kindly begin.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a great privilege to be allowed this opportunity to speak. Unfortunately, I'm unable to join you in person, which would have been a great thing. I'm based in Kenya, so joining you from there. I'll just start with a very short presentation on Millers for Nutrition. You've seen the video. We have heard from our previous distinguished speakers that what we are talking about in this section is a number of opportunities to add value to customers that use wheat products. So we heard about improvers, enzymes, technology. All of this works towards bringing a better product to our customers, whether it's in its functional organoleptic properties or in its other value. And what I'm going to talk about is nutrition. There is a tremendous opportunity to add nutrients as well, which are quite essential to human development using wheat flour. These micronutrient deficiencies affect about 3 billion people in the world. It is not excluding India. So just a brief, maybe many of you will be familiar with it, just a brief situation analysis in India. India consumes over 100 million metric tons of wheat, which translates to at least about 70 to 80 million metric tons of wheat flour. When we look at micronutrient deficiencies in the country, there is significant micronutrient deficiency as well. We have 50% or more than 50% iron deficiency. We have about over 50% vitamin B12 deficiency, and we have quite a number of significant amounts of folate deficiency. Folate, for example, is essential for preventing neural tube defects. In India's numbers, we have about 4.5 neural tube defects for every 1,000 total birth rate, which if you multiply that for the number of births in the country every year, that's a significant amount. These deficiencies can be easily prevented by very small amounts of nutrients that can be added to any sort of wheat flour, whether you're using that wheat flour for bread baking, biscuit, or so, at a minuscule of the cost, and would make a huge difference to the population. And the good thing is, unlike where we've heard about some of the specific properties we're seeking in different products, when you add micronutrients to wheat flour, it does not change any of the organoleptic properties as such. Currently, wheat flour fortification is not mandatory in India. It's on a voluntary basis, but FSSAI does have standards. If you do decide to fortify wheat flour, you have that in place. And that's where Millers for Nutrition come in. So we are a coalition powered by TechnoServe, and realize that ultimately you are the target audience. Millers are essential to make food fortification effective. You are the ones that do the final act of adding these nutrients to these products such that they can be consumed. And if we look at over 100 million metric tons of wheat consumed in the country, we have a potential to reach a very large proportion of the population. Yet, we recognize that there are lack of incentives to fortify, because frequently governments in many countries don't enforce it, and consumers don't necessarily demand it. They don't see a difference between what is fortified and what is not. Enforcement is a non-issue right now in wheat flour fortification in India because it's voluntary. So we don't really have to heavily define our enforcement, but we have to create the right incentives for the millers to fortify. 143 countries have made fortification of at least one staple food mandatory, but only about half of that remains properly fortified. And that's the equation we want to change. And we want to do that by making the act of fortification easier for millers. The M4N program is aiming to introduce a number of services and support for millers to make this possible. A digital toolbox, which includes a wide range of resources that are available for millers, from data to actually process tools. Through this coalition, we're collecting and have quite a number of partners already, which is a growing list of partners that are able to offer technical assistance to millers. Most recently, I'm glad to see you had a speaker from Bueller who has also agreed to join this coalition. We have a lot of support available for testing the product and develop that capacity. Besides that, we also want to make fortification more rewarding for millers by recognizing good performance and progress, as well as celebrating this success and recognizing the millers where there is a demonstrated impact. And that is why the program is called Millers for Nutrition. Millers are not factories, they are not machines, they are not some robots working out there. Millers are people. And we do need to celebrate people when they make a difference in our society. So our ambition is quite large. Across the 8 countries, we want to reach 1 billion people with at least one fortified food vehicle. We work in flour, rice, and edible oil. In Africa, we work in both maize and wheat flour. We're up and running in these 8 countries. And these 8 countries are chosen because they have high levels of micronutrient deficiencies, but also host high proportion of the world's population. These 8 countries that we have started to work in house about 30% of the world's population. So it is not random. Of course, in the long term, we expect this initiative to grow, bringing more millers and more strategic fortification partners together. We are supported by a number of partners, including local partners and regional partners from Asia, around the globe. From industry associations, we're very happy to be working with the Wheat Products Promotion Society in India, for example, the Gujarat Roller Flour Mills Association and Soybean Processors Association of India, number of key milling partners and technical partners. And as a collective, we believe that we can come together to bring all the resources that are needed to make this happen and realize this vision come together. And we want to back you, millers, every step of the way to make it easier and cost-effective. So we encourage you to be part of this coalition, whether you're a miller, you're a technical partner, a donor, anyone. We feel that the community is needed to come together to make a difference. And you can join us. These PowerPoint slides will be shared. You can go through our portal to get more information. We have an office in Mumbai, which can be reached as well, and colleagues who are there who will be circulating within you over the break period. So I hope this is the shortest presentation you've got today, and I'll end here.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Rizwan Yusuf Ali, Global Program Director, Ignite TechnoServe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Nikunj Khandelwal, Chief Strategy Officer of Khandelwal Group.
Good afternoon. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, WPPS, for giving this opportunity to me, speaking in front of all you important people. I know we are in the competition of having the shortest presentation. I hope I win this one. I'll be super quick. So I would just like to start off by saying that, you know, how important wheat is. Wheat is one of the oldest crop, cultivated for more than 10,000 years. The versatility of wheat helps us in having a lot of products. I'll just... As we are all aware, different kind of wheat products. We have all different kind of breads. We have pastas, we have cereals, cookies, cakes, muffins, even snacks like crackers, pretzels, and chips. So many more coming in, all kind of wheat products. At Khandelwal Milling, our main focus is to understand your requirement and design your project accordingly. We ensure that your wheat is properly and correctly milled in order to give you the maximum extraction possible with the best quality. Be it dalia, bulgur, semolina, specialty flours, whole wheat flours. I mean, we do our best to give you the maximum, best possible results out of it. We not only make your project technically sound, we make sure your project is viable enough to maximize your profits. And I would like to give you one example of how we incorporate all the latest technologies from all around the world. One of the latest technology we are currently working on is developed in Sweden, which is segregating wheat on the basis of proteins. Now, we are all aware that currently we are segregating the wheat on the outer properties. But with the help of this technology, we are able to get inside the wheat and segregate on the basis of protein. We are currently working on it. Hopefully, it will give us huge benefits. From complete turnkey projects to small quality enhancements in the existing mills, we do it all for you. And with the help of our associated companies like Celis from Turkey, Balaguer Rolls from Spain, Kofco from China, and CFR from Switzerland, we can strongly say that we have been able to expand our business and get much, much better results in the existing milling. So thank you very much. I would like now Mr. Mehmet Karaca from Celis to continue and show some modern techniques and equipments.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you to WPPS for welcoming us over here and for giving us this opportunity. Presentation, slideshow. As you know, one of the most important machine in the flour milling sector that we consider is one of the machines plant sifters. And especially in the countries like where the temperature is very high and humidity is too high and daily temperature differences are very high, the biggest issue is condensation problem in the traditional plant sifters. Now, here we'll be giving information about new generation insulated plant sifters. So what are these? Like what kind of problems we face? One of them is dough formation due to condensation, clogging of sieving cloth due to pulping. As a result of the above reasons, insect infestation in the date points. So what makes condensation? During grinding, a hot and humid air environment is formed inside the plant sifters. The amount of the moisture that air can carry at a certain temperature is certain. And if the amount of the moisture increases, the temperature decreases. The moisture carrying capacity of the air decreases and condensation happens actually. Like if we assume that the mill temperature is 28 to 30 degrees and the environment temperature is about 28 to 30 degrees, there will not be condensation. But if the plant sifter is less temperature and the outer environment is more hot, then in this case, condensation will happen. A good example of this can be windows being covered the mist and moisture of the cars in the winter time. So you can consider similarly with the plant sifters. What are the defects of condensation? Condensation on the inner wall surfaces of the plant sifters due to outside temperature difference has negative effects on the plant sifter performance and the final product quality. With the condensation inside the sieve, bacterial and enzyme activities will accelerate and there will be unwanted quality defects in the final product. With the condensation, like in this bacterial and enzyme activities, to eliminate this, we have a solution. Our solution is new generation silver inox plant sifter. Since it's not possible to keep the temperature at the same level in the mill environment, all the year around. Therefore, by preventing heat transfer between the plant sifter and outside of the sifter, condensation has been largely prevented. With new generation plant sifter, since inner walls of the sieve passages will be at the similar temperature to the inner environment of the sieve, condensation on the inner wall surfaces of the plant sifter has been reduced to minimum. Now I will show you inner construction of this plant sifter, Silvernox plant sifter. There are no MS material used on the passage walls. There is insulation material inserted on all the inner side and outer side of the plant sifter, and it is covered with completely stainless steel sheets. So it is eliminating heat transfer of the, like from one passage, it's also eliminating heat differences between the passages. Also, it is not getting affected from the outer temperatures. And it's completely SS, there is no welding, and much more hygienic. And what are the new generation plant sifters bringing? Thanks to its modular unit, especially enhanced modular panels, Silvernox sifter runs more stable with its simple assembly. By frame sifter construction, look over here, you will see better. Frame sifter construction means it's complete cage and there are no panels, steel panels over there. It is much more efficient over here. And stainless steel execution on the passage walls provide hygienic milling also, maximum level. Also, special seals has been used over here. There is no silicone usage, and maximum sealing has been achieved over here in this plant sifter. And thank you very much for listening this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
So, Mr. Erisio from Balaguer Roads. I think they will play it over here.
Yeah, you're already there, sir. You're already there.
But you can put here?
Yes.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity to show you Balaguer products. Balaguer main products is the roll. And where we dedicate all our efforts during 108 years to obtain a very good rolls. As you know well, the rolls have been increasing and higher the cost. And you must to carry it as long as possible. This is why I'm going to present my work. Take care of your rolls. Incoming products and roller mill parameters. Intake, pre-cleaning and cleaning, moisture target, and tempering time, roller mill management. Intake, pre-cleaning and cleaning. The importance of cleaning the mill clean, reduce the breakdowns and damage of the equipment. Moisture target and tempering time. The wheat must reach the moisture target before first break, pressure and applied. Roll mill management, the importance of keeping the mill clean, reduce the breakdowns and damage of the equipment. Roll gap adjustment, brush and knife scrapers, roll temperature, bearings, and roll alignment. Roll gap adjustment, adjust of the different passage, size reduction of the intermediate products. Brush and knife scrapers, the brush and knife scrapers should be well adjusted. If these two elements work well, the performance and durability of the rolls will increase. Roll temperature. As we know, the rolls work under high pressures, which means that the rolls can reach high temperatures. If the temperatures are very high, the moisture loss will increase. The temperature will not exceed 75 Celsius. To avoid this, we must to control the roll surface temperature by using the thermometers and the temperature sensors. Bearings. The bearings need to be lubricated periodically. Temperature bearing monitor will be temperature sensors installed in the roller mill. The temperature may not exceed 70 Celsius. The roll alignment, roll parameters, harness, roll tempering, balancing, roll fluting, roll and shaft grinding, roughness and sandblasting. The harness degree should be uniform to constant of the entire surface of the roll. You can see here the three qualities that we have for fluted rolls and the three qualities that we have for sandblasted rolls. The balancing, dynamic balancing is a method through which we balance the moving parts of the machine or pieces of industrial machinery. The high revolution demanded for the rolls are required that dynamic balancing avoid vibration. Example for flour, oil, cereal, etc. Roll grinded. Accurate grinding rolls are specially evaluated. It is very important to protect and to avoid any damage in our equipment. Shafts grinding. Avoid the runout between the shafts step on the roll. You need to ensure the concentricity, the correct lines, the correct little mislight in the left. The tolerance between are 5 microns. Shaft problems. Proper grinding and size of the shafts. Avoid clearing between pulley and shaft. Roll tapering. Define the taper needed for each compression passage. The soft rolls might bend too much when high grinding. Taper will be defined based on the length and the load of each passage. Roll fluting. Verify correcting the fluting, traceability, and stability in the milling process. Check the wear of the flutes, regrinding when necessary. Roughness and sandblasting. This matte finishing will provide the proper condition for size reduction in the compression passage. The best grinding performance is achieved by using the very soft rolls. The recommended roughness is between 2.5 and 3.5 microns. Thank you for your attention, and don't forget, take care of your rolls.
Dandapani.
Warm welcome to you, Anand sir. Warm welcome. Yeah, it's coming on. It's coming on.
Okay.
All good things take time, you know.
Yeah, we talk about time. When it comes to talking something good about Maida, we never have time. So I think I want to talk about, is Maida really bad? So let's take a few minutes on that. I represent the Tamil Nadu Roller Flour Millers Association as its president, and I also represent amongst this dais, I'm the only miller out here. So I just want to bring out a salient point that, when it comes to wheat flour, refined wheat flour or maida, there's always a negative connotation around that. And this is growing by the day, and I wouldn't be surprised, over time that, if maida gets classified as a sin good and the government imposes a sin tax on it. So before that, it's very important that we as the entire stakeholders in this industry take action in improving the health aspect of maida, as well as, propagating or sending the right communication across into the public. So this is my topic. Sorry, the slide doesn't move. Oh yeah. So, wow, mom. It doesn't look like. Does it look like my mom is wow and it's like a greeting card for your mother on your Mother's Day? It actually just that it's an acronym for what it came up for, World of Wheat, and actually, it's made of maida. But for today's topic, it's more of myths around maida. World of Wheat. I think I'm surprised that you might be knowing that India is the second largest producer of wheat. But I was surprised to know that we produce more than 400 varieties of wheats. And when you say variety, and when you say wheat, the key differentiator between wheat and other cereals is the gluten. It's a combination of gliadin and glutenins, which are proteins in the wheat. And each variety of wheat has a different combination of these gliadin and glutenins, the high and low molecular weight items, so which when combined can produce different types of end functional flours. Because we use wheat for producing, wheat is one of the most widely used, wheat flour is one of the more widely used for making n number of products. And depending on the type of product you make, the type of the flour, the type of gluten composition, and thereby the choice of wheat makes it very important. And in India, we have a very wide range. So, I mean, India has been producing more than 100 million tons of wheat over the last 7 years, arguably. We do not know that exact number, but still, the consumption of wheat for refined flour milling or through flour mills has increased from about 18 million tons to 25 million tons. So this is a significant change where the milling industry, the wheat going for atta versus the meal going for flour milling is drastically growing due to urbanization and globalization. So as we're seeing, the functional element is the gluten, which is the protein matrix, which is unique to wheat. And depending upon, what millers we do, we can have a choice of the selection of the wheat, the blending of the wheat, and we play around with the extractions. And then you do the last stage of flour correction and improvers to deliver the different, to meet the different flour requirements of different end products. We know that there's a lot of myths surrounding the negative connotations around maida is basically coming from these areas of, it creates digestive problems because of gluten issues. It increases blood sugar because it is refined wheat flour, and it leads to weight gain and obesity, and it lacks essential nutrients and is a cause of a lot of diseases. Basically, what people are talking about, if you try to attack it as problems, are the gluten issues, the bleaching issues, the lack of fiber in maida, the diabetes-causing nature, and the lack of nutrients. So let's see how we can address each of these. At least the nutrients part is, we have solutions like fortification could be an answer. And, when it comes to lack of fiber, it is not always you don't eat bread alone. You eat with your vegetables or meat, and so you get your fiber from all the other vegetables that you eat. It need not be that that flour gives you everything that you want. And the gluten issues, when you talk about, gluten is more like, you talk about celiac disease, it's hardly about 1% of the people in this country have that. So let's see that these negative connotations, how it is getting amplified in social media is, you see, we have people talking that maida is the waste generated out of processing, and that it is the chemicals used for bleaching of clothes are being, as a textile whitener is being used in things. These are doctors talking in public stage. We have, the bleached flour being given to, bleached flour creates a chemical called alaxon, which when given to rats induces diabetes overnight. So these kinds of communications happening over the social media, though it's half-baked or not, but it is being propagated very much. And also about, gluten-free is being used about for everywhere. You see potato chips carrying, which has got nothing to do with gluten. I'm mentioning gluten-free. And our more popular brand of atta, Ashirvad Atta, mentions 0% maida and 100% atta. I'm not getting into the debate whether it is 0% or 100%, but the point is, when you have an ingredient list, when you have something, you mention it. When there is no ingredient is not there, you don't mention it. But when you go about saying something as 0%, we are subtly trying to say that it is harmful. Anything like 0% or free from trans fat, what are we trying to say? That we are attaching a negative connotation around that. So that is happening around for maida. Even the larger consumers of flour, whether it is the biscuits or noodle people, they talk about atta. They play by the rules of what is maida and atta. If the percentage of fiber in maida is a little higher, it gets classified as atta. So people ask for a higher fiber atta to say that, to classify that our biscuit is not made out of maida or it's been made out of atta. So all this that, at end of the day, it leaves it's the negative image around maida as a bad product is growing by the day, and it's become more as a given. So, we are talking about celiac disease. It has been tested by All India Institute of Medical Science that 1.04% of the population is having it. So when people come up with gluten-free products, are we coming up with products for 1% of India's population? And why do we have to go about with the tag of gluten-free? So actually, gluten is a healthier protein for us. It's got a lot of, it's actually a protein. It's good for our health. The more important thing is about the bleaching. This is the aspect which we as millers could take action on. So, though, potassium benzoyl peroxide is allowed 40 ppm, potassium bromide has been banned. So we still, but benzoyl peroxide is being permitted additive in many of the countries, including US. But there's been tests done on bleached flour using benzoyl peroxide or any other bleaching agent that it introduces a chemical called alaxon, which kills the beta cells and it causes diabetes in humans. So this kind of test, that leads us to the pertinent point. There has been also a case filed in Tamil Nadu where because all bleached flour or all the manufacturers of flour should be banned because it causes diabetes. So this case, fortunately, was ruled out. So there is a lot of communication going on around this. So my question to millers is should we really bleach our flour? Why do we actually bleach our flour? Is because it's one, it does oxidation, and two, it whitens the flour. Basically, oxidation happens even naturally. We don't need to add a bleaching agent to the flour. It's a process which, when oxidation is exposed to air, it happens naturally over time, maybe 2 or 3 days. So why do we need to induce that? And in a country like India, where the temperature is quite warm, this happens much faster. And also, the Indian wheat is naturally, it's yellow in color, not the red wheat. So it actually is it produces a more whiter flour. So, and the perception that, white is good and white is healthy, or those times are changing. People want it to be more natural. So the question is that, what action we could take on is, with the right selection of wheat and with the milling technology, we can produce a very good flour without addition of any bleaching agent, which will actually eliminate a major of the ill effects around maida. The next, also one is on the action we take, the other is on what gets spoken about. So there's more spoken negative about maida than actually the positives. Here and there you find a doctor or somebody talking that maida is not bad, and that all these alaxon things are not, actually maybe it affects rats, but not proved in humans. So also the way we look at things, dal is good, lentils are good, and maida is bad. But when you look at the protein percentage on both, they are similar in nature, though the fiber content in dal could be higher. When you look at price per protein and the amount of protein we get out of maida is almost a similar range. And also you look at whole wheat flour versus too good and maida is too bad, but they are not totally far away. The protein is 11 grams and 9 grams in refined and whole wheat flour, and on the fiber side it is a little lower, which of course can be compensated with other foods. So when you look at it as a go forwards, wheat flour is the building block of economy. I'm saying that because it is the most economic grain available to feed the masses. And in terms of application, it is the widest range of applications, and it's accepted to all our palate. And in terms of nutrition, it's a protein and energy, it has got a sufficient amount as required. And also on price and affordability, because being the largest grown and consumes the lowest amount of water, it is a very sustainable crop. So the only aspect is that the unanswered, which is keeping all this talk, is on the health aspect. So as all stakeholders, right from scientists, scientific panel to millers to the various users of flour, we have to take action in improving the health awareness. I mean, using better technology and using with the right knowledge, we can produce a more healthier flour and a healthier bakery, a healthier finished product, which is actually, as a responsible citizen. But it's not just enough that we take action on producing a good flour. It is very important we also communicate this message. We are setting the vision for wheat products promotion for 2030. It is very, we don't have a wheat product without a refined wheat flour. So, and if you're having a negative image around that, this is a basic building block. We need to send the right, we should take that also in our agenda in setting the vision for thing. And so it's everyone's responsibility and interest in the positioning of maida. It has to change over time. Maybe today it is maida is bad, and it can become with the right communication, it might make people think is maida but really bad, and maybe maida is not that bad, and maybe there might be a day come that maida is not bad at all. So that's the day we should aim for and work towards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Anand. And it's so heartening to hear somebody from the rice-eating heartland coming all the way to tell us that we should eat more wheat. Thank you indeed. So Dr. Sridevi has just excused herself. She had something important. So now I'll ask Mr. Gupta from Bansal Engineers to give his little presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, WPSS, for the opportunity given to be here. I know I'm already in extra time, so I need to finish in 5 minutes. Everybody's waiting for a cup of tea. So just a couple of points about our activities. We've been associated with IMAS Turkey for the last 20 years. IMAS needs no introduction. We've had more than 1,000 roller mills and other machines installed. Ajay Bhai has 20 roller mills. So many present members have these machines being used successfully. Now I'd like to share with you the new developments which are absolutely new to the industry. Most of the roller mills in use are either from steel plate, welded steel plates, and some of the roller mills have been changed to cast iron frames. But now the new development is moving into the polymer-based roller mills, which are 10 times stronger than the cast iron and the steel plate frames. Even if you look at the Boeing 787 composition, 53% of the material used is polymer-based, and in automobiles, it's more than 60%. So that gives you the advantage of rigidity, stronger and robust construction of the machine, and the miller has the controls to grind to his liking. The next, can you change the slide, Dhruv? The next is the concern about the power consumption with the roller mills. The industry has moved to use of the torque motors. By using torque motors, we are eliminating the induction motors, the big first brake, second brake motors. So this is a typical new induction motor roller mill, which is water cooled, and you do not use the induction motors, the pulleys, the belts, and they are already in use in Italy in a mill for more than 1 year, and the estimated power savings is 30 to 40% depending on the milling parameters. So the roller mills for hygiene, they've created negative pressure on the rolls to keep the roll surface clean. All the contact part is stainless steel, sanitation and food safety by giving stainless steel surfaces, coated aluminum profiles, noise and heat insulation, high strength aluminum injection covers, and polymer based construction. So this is very, very brief introduction about these polymer roller mills to replace the steel welded plates or the cast iron roller mills. Most of the sifters in use are with the steel welded frames. The new technology is extruded aluminum frames with cast iron, which are with nuts and bolts, eliminating the steel welding. And with the steel welding, you have the sharp corners by which there is, the sticking of the flour, which generates weevils and the other unwanted infestation on the process. This is more rigid, aluminum, extruded aluminum, cast iron, bolted, and a very, very new technology, absolutely, to replace the old welded, steel welded frames. The new design enables a wider flow passage. Conventionally, steel welded frames have a 45 mm passage. The new model gives you a 63 mm passage, which is roughly 40% more than the old one. So the material flow is faster and more smoother. From sanitation point of view, there has been adequate development to make sure that no flour gets stuck while in motion at the corners. When you have steel welded frames, it's obvious that there will be welding spots where the flour will get stuck. But with the new brief presentation that I'm exhibiting, there are no sharp corners and the flour will always flow smoothly and there'll be no sticking of the flour all around. Well, finally now we have gone back integration. We've set up the first state-of-the-art complete line to produce silos in India. It is in the same factory that we are doing here in Kundi. This is a complete automation line where we load the coil and we get the product finished. The machine is about 32 meters in length. What it does is that we put the coil, it does the unwinding of the coil, it trims the coil to the desired width of the profile that we want. Then the corrugation, from corrugation, it does the servo punching, from servo punching to the desired curving, and finally we have the cut piece to start to assemble the silos at the site. Thank you very much. We are only an hour away from here, and I think one day we expect all of you, one by one, whenever you have time, please do visit us. This is the latest installation we have done for 60,000 tons at the refinery, and I'm right in the middle. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony ji. The only problem is every time I go in and buy your one model, you have a new model ready very soon. So, you know, the pace of innovation nowadays is really hectic. You know, and previously we used to have like an ambassador or a Fiat running for years, and now, you know, it's difficult to make the choice, but that's the way it is. And and now we have with us our final speaker, and as we see in Hindi movies, and above all, Dr. Sevaram. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, the organizers. ICR scientists among the milling giants here, and talking about the varieties. And you see the production and productivity in India. This is the only country in the world where we are getting each and every year higher production and productivity. You can see the world figures and Indian figures. So, and millers expect that the variety should have all kinds of traits, the processing quality traits and nutritional quality traits. So I will be talking about challenges first. We want that we have the targets of 150 million tons by 2050. And that too more than 5 tons productivity. And that is a big challenge, and that to all kinds of climate changes. As you know, that elevated CO2 can lead to effect on the quality. So how to balance it, and that miracle happened in the past with the high-yielding varieties, and now we have not only sufficient, even we can export the wheat, despite the challenge that population is increasing continuously. So these are the basic concepts and fundamentals of wheat quality which we understand. We want to understand more from the millers, and that we are trying to follow these standard and to develop the varieties. What we have done, we have made our own groups of different kinds of wheat. In India, generally we have genetically hard wheat, and we have developed some varieties which are soft, good for biscuits and noodles and some kind of and cakes. Now we have emphasized a lot on developing varieties, biofortified varieties, and wheat is a major crop in ICR system, that we have developed more than 40 varieties of wheat which are biofortified. In terms of energy content, more than 40 ppm, and the protein content more than 12%. And protein content is highly influenced by the environment. So we need to have some kind of agronomic management. And for this, I think we need to have some kind of collaborations among the industries, with the farmers and the scientists working on the wheat. And we are taking a lot of, we are trying to understand the genetics of about what are the nutritional quality traits. We have developed, first time in India, low phytic acid wheat and high phytage wheat, which are good for non-ruminant animals and for the human feeding. So as a scientist in ICR, we are trying to develop and understand the wheat for better nutrition and useful for different products. We have the good facility in our institute
I think some of the millers, they have visited our institute, and that we can help in developing that kind of collaborations and have the varieties suitable for the milling industry. So we have, based on these simple tests, for example, we have the weakest wheat in the biological, in the wheat world. We have the NAFAL, Indian landrace, and that landrace has been utilized for developing varieties for soft wheat product, for biscuits. So we have the technologies, we have the methodologies, we have the breeding techniques, we have the varieties. Now what to do next? So we need that kind of collaborations so that we can have those varieties for different. For example, you see the varieties, we have so many varieties for chapati, the flatbread. They are excellent for chapati quality. That is more than 8 score out of 10, chapati quality score. Like earlier we had a variety C306. Now we have comparable varieties for that. We have some of the varieties, they are good for bread. Few of the varieties, they now recently have been developed for biscuit, for making biscuits. And we have recently put a lot of emphasis on durum wheat by increasing yellow pigment content to 10 ppm. Now I will show some of the, you see that, you see, there are some misconceptions, lot of misconceptions about the quality and the yield. You can produce the 8-ton variety per hectare by having the protein content more than 12%, micronutrient content more than 40 ppm. So these are the varieties you can, so there is no dearth of varieties available, but we need to have that kind of agronomic management, we need to have that kind of contract farming, that we need to have that kind of milling industry associations. You see, in the case of sedimentation, that is a very important test for evaluating the strength of the gluten. In the last 10-15 years, we have improved a lot. We have more than 6 gram test, more than 50 cc. And for yellow pigment also, the last 10 years, we have improved a lot. So breeding is done, a lot of improvement are being done in terms of these constituents. And now we are trying to have that kind of wheat for export purposes, to develop which comes under the grade first. So a lot of achievements in the scientific areas. I think I am not going to talk about that, but one fundamental aspect is agronomic biofortification. We need to have that kind of very simple technique, zinc sulfate spray, only 100 rupees per day, per hectare. Zinc sulfate requirement is there. And you can have more than 40% enhanced in zinc content, because our soils are getting deficient of zinc content. So by agronomic manipulation, by selecting the varieties, you can have that kind of achievement in terms of variety. But what we need definitely, always I emphasize in the meeting, that we need to have that kind of interaction, that kind of collaboration developed. Despite that, we don't have practically no interaction, I mean no collaborations. Industry is not contributing anything. I am harsh to say that. But we are not getting, if a scientist working in developing a variety suitable for the milling industry, but we are not having that kind of collaborations developed. And that to the market. You see the market, more than 100 million tons, the wheat is consumed in India. Still we don't have. I think we need to work on that in the direction. That is actually the message which I want to put the August gathering and ICR scientists talking among the millers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks indeed, Dr. Sivaram. And so, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and the entire bouquet of the wheat varietals that we need are already there. And they're just waiting for, the suitable people to come and work with them. So, very often we hear millers say that we don't get the right variety, that's why we're not able to make the required products for our customers. Whereas the other way around, everything is there ready, just, it's a matter of collaborating and moving forward. Thanks indeed for highlighting that, Dr.
Thank you very much. I would now like to invite Mr. Vinod Kapoor and Mr. Adi Narayan Gupta to be part of the Memento Giving team, along with Mr. Ajay Goyal, please. All three of you, please come forward. And yeah, may I request you to stand here? Goyal, somebody, when you come here. Thank you. And I'll call one by one our esteemed panel to receive a memento from us. Thank you. May I first invite Ms. Gupta, please, to please accept a memento. Sunilji, you're after that. Thank you. Yeah, for your distinguished presence and for your presentation. We give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. May I invite Dr. M. Murali Krishnan, please, to please accept Dr. M. Murali Krishnan. Dr. M. Murali Krishnan. Thank you, Dr. M. Murali Krishnan, for your inspiring presentation and your words of wisdom. Would anybody represent Dr. Lutz Popper, please? Somebody represent Dr. Lutz Popper? No, okay. I'd like to invite Mr. Biren Palani, please, to kindly come and accept a token of our appreciation. Thank you. Thank you very much. May I request Mr. M.R. Sundar to kindly come and accept a token of our appreciation, please. Thank you. Mr. Sundar, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Sundar. May I request now Mr. Jay Prakash Sharma ji, please, to kindly come and accept our token of our appreciation. And we'll keep in mind what you said, that next time give the correct timing for the speaker. Didn't hear that. Thank you, sir. May I request representative from Global Program Director Ignite TechnoServe on behalf of Mr. Rizwan Yusuf Ali to kindly come and accept a token of appreciation. Yeah, that is for Mr. Rizwan Yusuf Ali. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Chief Strategy Officer, Khandelwal Group, Mr. Nikunj Khandelwal. May I invite you to please accept a token of appreciation, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, good picture. Regional Marketing Director of Celis Turkey, Mr. Mehmet Karaka. Please accept our token of our appreciation. Give a big round of applause. Thank you. Area Manager Balagur roles, Mr. Ellison Sempare. May I invite you, please? Thank you. Technical Director Naga Limited, Mr. Vijay Anand D. May I invite you, please, to accept a token of our appreciation, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Dr. Sevaram ji, may invite you to kindly come and accept a token of our appreciation for your wonderful presentation. And finally, Mr. Sunil Gupta, please may I invite you to accept a token of our appreciation, sir. Thank you. And now may I invite all the panelists and Bansal sir to please come in the front and take Goyal sir a picture together. Please come right in the front and get a group picture with showing all your mementos. Great. And you can post it on Instagram instantly. Here's our great panel, speakers, organizers. Let's hear a big, big round of applause. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, where are you? Wonderful. They look very good. We'll give you a tea break, a coffee break, and have some snacks. Come back by exactly 5 minutes to 5.
Just one more small announcement. The cookies and puffs today are made using very low fat and an enzyme from less fat, yes. So they're very healthy. Thank you.
Wheat in India comes from various regions and different varieties.
Asthana Sahab, warm welcome to you, sir. आपके पीछे